I would really like to welcome our speaker for today, who is going to be Elisa Guietti, who's going to speak on the creative heart of freedom. So Elisa is an intuitive artist, a holistic therapist, and a teacher based in Edinburgh. She's originally from Italy, where she studied fine arts in her hometown of Turin, and has lived between London and Edinburgh for the last 10 years or so. Elisa is the founder of the Creative Flow Arts Project, an inner light healing studio, where she provides a safe space for exploration and free expression through workshops, courses, and individual sessions as well. Her practice is largely nature-based and focuses on the awakening of the heart and the creative energy within, which is something that really chimes with us here at Creative Mornings. She also collaborates with charities and different groups across Edinburgh, providing creative and relaxing sessions for the community. Her past and recent collaborations include with Wild in Art, Roshni, the Planetary Healing Centre, Santosa Wellness Centre, and the Alma Project as well. Elisa's work aims to support and facilitate a deep process of self-discovery, creation, empowerment, and healing. And through her journey and her personal experiences, she has discovered for herself how powerful and transformative the combination of these different practices could be. And she's going to tell us about this and more in our talk today, The Creative Heart of Freedom. So over to you, Elisa. Thank you.
Very nice to be here, really. I think we all miss you. We're having a chat early with some of you, and we all miss so much these meetings in person. Miss me learning how to use a microphone as well, as you can see. Yes, perfect. So, yeah, anyway, it's really good to be here. It's been, to be honest, a big gift for me to explore this topic. So I'm very grateful for that because it helped me to understand the meaning of freedom for myself more, and to ask myself many questions. And this month has been all around this for me. So it's been quite an interesting exploration. And so I will share some of the insights, but really this space is for all of us to, just to go within and understand what freedom, the word free means. We might have a different meaning as well that we find. And so I'd like to start just really to invite you to go within. And perhaps this is quite an unusual start, but I guess it fits very well with our topic. So we can take 5 minutes really just to, maybe to just close our eyes, around. You can call it meditation, relaxation, or just simply an invitation to see how we are feeling today, what is there for us. So that we can listen from that place. We can really let go of our busy day or all the bubbling energy for a moment, just we can allow it to ground. And if there are noises in the background as well, just allow them to be in the background. And I really invite you to sense underneath your feet the earth. The solidity, the support that is there. And just with our intention, just to go there for a moment. Maybe start to take some deep breath through the belly, so that the connection with the earth can strengthen a little more. And see if we can create that space, the free space inside ourselves. And from the belly, the invitation is to move up into the chest, space of the heart. And just see how is this space, how does it feel today? Just allow whatever is there to surface. No judgment, no labels. We are creating space. With our breath, we can welcome the energy of life into that space more. The energy of life is the energy of freedom. We can consciously access it in any moment. Just like that. And while you're there, I'd like to really share with you some words that came to me when I started to think about this topic, and I was doing some mind mapping exercises, and then some writing came through, and I thought I'd like to share that with you, and really you can listen to this word from the space of your heart, your chest, and just see what these words bring forward inside yourself. Because really this is the space for all of us to explore this theme. So let's use it well. So I wrote freedom. True freedom comes from our hearts. The space of deep connection with our whole self lies in our chest. The heart is always free, no matter what our surroundings are saying. The heart remembers that freedom lies within, and all the rest is an illusion. How do we reclaim the capacity to stay in the heart, to listen to its powerful voice? Our creative energy invites us every day to create and shape our reality according to the desire of our hearts. Then it is all about trust in ourselves and our potential as creators. Freedom doesn't come from solitude. Instead, it comes from community. Together we are free and can bridge a sense of freedom everywhere in our society. The place of the heart knows that and wishes for connection every day. It is our primary desire as human beings, the desire to connect and experience each other, experience oneness, the oneness of the heart, which is wholeness in itself and the essence of freedom. Embodiment is a practice of freedom. Our needs, the needs of our body, are a compass to freedom. How do we navigate a society that has at its core the repression of our needs? We merge into the ability to listen. We create space for our heart so that, despite all the conditioning, it can guide our way we reach out for support. As we enter the state of sacred reciprocity, we gain the freedom of being who we are. Freedom is the alchemy of force, magnetized into being. The freedom of the heart is the gift of the soul, embodied into physicality through joy and light, darkness and sorrow. A creative art doesn't know the word limitation. It holds the truth at its core, and by knowing the truth, knows that it is free. Just really allow all this work to land and stir something for you. And then just notice if anything changed since we started. Just observe. Really, the invitation is to observing yourself. What this thought moves. What other question perhaps may arise. So just invite you to take a deep breath in and out, and allowing the sense of presence to be with you for the whole day, and then just come back at any time. And I continue to share. As well. There are just a few slides. So yeah, when I started to explore this theme, my story came up really, so it was quite interesting. And with this story came also the idea of things what was behind the scene of the story, so my search for freedom. And I noticed that my life was being guided by this word. This word was very strong, constantly pushing me to change my experience. So as Rebecca mentioned, I studied finance in Italy. But then when I finished, I really didn't feel free at all. So I decided to leave and move to London, because I thought that London was the place of freedom. And it was in many ways, as you all probably know, London has the flavor and all the energy and the excitement. I remember for me it was it was the sky. I could see the sky, and I know London is a big city, but where I came from in Italy is a city with really high buildings, so it's not very easy to see the sky unless in the countryside. So I remember when I was there, I was seeing the sky, and that was giving me the sense of freedom. But then I started to work the usual 12, 14-hour shift in a bar. And that was not really making me feel free. So I was again in a place of, okay, maybe something has to change because I don't feel free. And so I thought, okay, maybe it's my job. So I need to look for a job that is fun, that is very easy, very relaxing, also for the physical body. And so I found a job. And it was a job in a shop, but believe me, it was the most amazing place in the shop field. Very easygoing and fun. And just so flexible. But then after some time, again, that feeling, I was not feeling free again. And so I thought, okay, maybe is because I'm not doing what I love. I always enjoy creating art, and that was my goal since I was little. So I thought, okay, maybe freedom, the sense of freedom might be there. And so I started again to connect with the art part, with the creative stuff. And it was a big push for me, because when I finished the university in Italy, I decided that was me done with art. So it was a big change. And of course, it was again the sense of freedom and liberation, because I was doing exactly what I liked, what I wanted to do. And then my life moved in between, obviously. Sometimes we take a step forward, then a step back, then we move around the loop. And at some point, I started to ground my artwork more. So I was completely into that sector. And I was maybe having commission or clients. And it was beautiful. But then, as you probably know, being a freelancer, self-employed, is not really something that you learn in school. So it was very tricky for me to hold myself together with this way of living. And I was struggling. Financially, I was struggling a lot. And so again, I wasn't free. Again, there was the feeling of not being free. And I think then I started to So, I think there I started to click that perhaps my mind had an important role in this feeling. Maybe freedom was not something outside. It was not in a place, in a job, in what I was doing, but it was something coming from the inside. So I started to explore yoga and meditation. And it was very interesting, because I remember after each yoga class, my life was very different. Everything was in flow, and I started to notice how when my mind was in a place of peace, everything was easy. There were commission, there was work. So there was a link that was very clear. But then also, I realized, of course, my mind is in a place of peace. My body is also moving and releasing stress. But there was the energy component that really got my attention. I was moving energy, so my energy was changing. And therefore, my projection in the outside world was different. And that really led me to explore that more, and to understand more and study more energy work for my well-being in the first place. And also at the same time, I started to, my approach to the creative process changed, and it became my medicine. And I started to work more intuitively. And I realized how I could transform any feeling, maybe feeling of anger or frustration, I could transform it through the process into something lighter. And that, of course, was a guidance for my path as well. And then I started at some point to feel the desire to share these tools with others. And it was very interesting, because in the beginning, I think part of my work doing energy healing. I had the sense for some time that I had to heal myself, and then I had to heal others. But actually, it was not about healing anything and anybody. It was all about freeing myself and freeing others. And when I started to explore shamanism, especially, I realized that, and it was all there through my work, but I never done it consciously. And the connection with nature really helped me to understand that better, because nature is free. There is no other experience within the organic natural world. But then we are part of that world. So when we embody the elements, when we remember that we are nature, of course we remember that we are free. And the place where we can access that connection is the heart space. And when we enter that place, everything can transform if we stay there, if we really allow whatever is there, like we done in our very, very short meditation this morning. That, we remember, really we remember that freedom is there. So I think exploring this topic was very useful because it helped me to upgrade my idea of freedom and to realize that through my journey there was a time where freedom for me was outside. And then at some point everything flipped and freedom was inside. It was a different experience. And my outside experience changed as well by changing the inner one. And it's a constant working process, and of course it's a learning for all of us, and I'm sure this time is pushing our boundaries a lot, and it's really just inviting us to go deeper and understand the meaning of this word, because it's a very powerful word, I think. And yeah, while I was exploring, I realized that there are ways for us to connect with that, with that feeling, and a simple way can be the grounding and being in nature and connecting with our value, which is really all the stress down. And then when we go into our heart, we create a space through the breath, because freedom requires space. To experience that, we need space. We need a feeling of that. And the presence, being fully present with whatever is there, without trying to change it or fight it. I believe that it really also helps again to reaccess that feeling that is there. It's always there. And when we listen to our heart, when we create a space, then we can shape our reality according to the needs that are there, our real needs. And we can even practice by listening to the needs of our body, which is already a great guidance. And when we listen to these needs, we honor ourselves, we honor life. And it's really, we can change everything. We are in the month of intentions and things, and of course we have a box of things that we want to maybe experience in the new year. But I think it's interesting to ask ourselves where these intentions are coming from. Are they coming from the mind, or are they coming from the heart? Sometimes we create a perfect life with all that we want, or we think that we want, and the so-called golden age. But then when we go deeper and ask the heart if he feels free, the answer might be surprising as well. So this is, I think, is a very transformative question that all of us can ask. Just if we feel free, and if not, okay, if the heart is a different question as well. And if not, then what can we do to change? And yeah, I realized that, of course, for me, moving to London was perfect at the time. Changing job, doing what I love was right. But not because of this thing in themselves, but because I was listening to my needs. And the expansion of the heart is a gradual process. It doesn't happen like that. It's a step by step by step. So all the time that we're tuning, we expand ourselves and we are asked to move a step forward. So of course it's a gradual process and probably will last all our life if we are allowed. So I guess just because, yeah, I think this sharing in community is what can support this expansion. Because together we can grow and we can just mirror each other experiences. So we can expand much faster from the kind of supported and nurturing place. And we have many tools that we can access also. And I'm sure, yeah, all of you have your own as well. So yeah, use this talk to explore this thing inside you and see what is there. Thank you so much for your time.
I would love to ask you, obviously, when you spoke there about freedom within space and space to grow, and obviously we've just come through a time where our lives have become a lot smaller and maybe are feeling a little bit more restricted. And I just want to know how has the past year or so changed your perception of what freedom is, or what you need to feel free? Has it changed at all for you?
That's a nice question. I think again it brought me to realize that it was inside, that was really here, and I can create access that. Whatever is happening around, if I stop, if I pause, and I really follow this step, yeah, I can find it. I can find the space, and the space for me is here. So when I feel free here, everything is fine. The outside world, it doesn't bother me that much. But if I don't feel free here, then yes, I feel really constricted, even more. And I just project the outside, basically. So I guess for me to feel free here is to listen what this space wants. That can be very basic, like not spending many hours on the laptop. Maybe that's not for me. I know I don't like it, doesn't work on my system. So if I listen to that, then I free myself because I feel good. But if I don't, I will feel tension. And normally the tension when we get stressed is around the shoulders and the chest. And because of course this part is not doing exactly what we like to. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely feel like a lot of us will empathize with that feeling of wanting to be free from a laptop, free from a screen,
Yes, I'm sure.
kind of be out and with ourselves a little bit more. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned that after you left university, you were done with art. Can you explain why you felt that way?
I think it was part of my process really, but I found the university years very, challenging in many ways. There was a lot of, it was very, I didn't feel I was able to explore and create. It was all about exams and the approval of the professor, and it was about meeting all the expectations. So my art didn't flourish really. It was just feeling, okay, I put this color, so it's okay, I will pass the exam. So it was not authentic. It was really not. I had no clue what the creative process was. And probably it's also about maturity, because I was very young. So I had no idea what I was doing and the power of this tool. So I guess it was probably just part of that, closing that cycle of not connection really, not deep connection. And then they reopened, but it was a very different experience that opened up. So I feel it's a transition that many people go through after studying fine arts, and of course then everyone has a different flavor, but it can be a kind of reaction to the structure, old structure of an academy. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, yeah, it was very inspiring. Thank you. When you mention freedom, what comes up for me is authentic connection, authenticity. And I wonder, in order to achieve that authenticity and kind of wholeness, like a one being, one mind, what do you say no to?
That's a beautiful question.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Because this is also a very important part, the wholeness that we create inside. That's another beautiful tool that we can use to access freedom. I guess maybe it's about asking ourselves the right question. And this is my way of approaching it at the moment. And understanding what is it that we like and what is it that we don't like. And finding the honesty first with ourselves. And sometimes the honesty might also cause change, or might also ask us to let go of things. So I guess it's being courageous and allow the honesty to surface, and then step by step we can allow ourselves to take some steps towards whatever is the guidance. And saying no is also, it means saying yes to something as well. So what is it that we say no, but what is it that we say yes when we say no? And often it's in my experience, and this is something that I've been working a lot through the years, if I say no to something that doesn't feel right, I say yes to myself. And this is it's a very different way of living, because we tend to feel the pressure in many ways, in so many areas of our life, and we used to push through, and okay, but that pushing through, I think, is not something that we want to carry with us in the new future that we want to create. But I guess because it's a process, and we've been conditioned to always do what kind of felt right, never really to tune in to what was actually needed. So I think the gentleness that we can bring to ourselves can help, and just holding, surrendering into that space of gentleness with whatever is arising, maybe can help.
So I think what I heard is that you were kind of aware within your body of maybe something didn't feel quite so harmonious.
Yeah.
And then you're able to step back and kind of feel that. And yeah, I have another question. That's all right. For people who aren't used to doing that, what might be a simple little way that they could start doing that from your experience? Because it takes such amount of awareness and bravery to do that. From your experience, what might be one little way?
Nature is, I think, is the way for everything. And it's simple, it's accessible. We all benefit from it, whether you're spiritual, completely detached from spirituality, or whatever is your experience of life. Everybody in nature can access something, and the gift might be different, but the more we spend time with something that is authentic, the more authenticity inside starts to move. And when it starts to move, then it's easier for us to access it when we need it. So we might have different ways to also explore that. But yeah, connecting with things, with people that are authentic, that influence us. And practices as well that can stir the authenticity inside. So that at some point that voice will be too loud to ignore. That's my experience, and of course that's a tricky thing as well. But the more we work with that part, we nurture that part, the more the part grows and feels able also to say no. That's the answer to your question.
Yeah, it's a beautiful answer. Yeah, what I heard was the space and the connection with nature, and meeting other people who have that space and connection within themselves helps to grow and nurture that. So connect. Yeah. Super. Thank you. All right.
I think we have a question from our YouTube audience.
There is. So first of all, we have a comment from the all-night audience saying you have a beautiful energy, and they also asking whether you have managed to find a community in Edinburgh to connect with, especially to continue your shamanic journey. Like, have you found a community to kind of, that you could connect with to continue your shamanic journey?
I think the community in Edinburgh is very strong, I feel. So it's quite wide across Scotland also in my experience. So in a way you need to tap into events and just link to people, or just meet people in the event as well. It can be a way to find your community or connect more, to build a stronger relationship. I think, like for me, it was in a way it's easier when years ago everything was in person, because everything was kind of rotating around the same center, so it was very easy to connect with everybody there. And now it's more about putting some energy and effort in maintaining this connection. But the good thing that I found is that this connection had the chance to expand, because before, for me, it was Edinburgh based. But now, because of the online work, it started to reach people in maybe Aberdeen or Inverness. So the net, the kind of web, is bigger, much bigger. I think. And it's always the resonance that we have that brings us the people that we can connect with as well. So it's also, I guess, trusting that, and wherever we go, normally we meet somebody that is similar line.
there is something for both of us to really receive and give to each other. That's the answer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no further comments. So,